And lastly, we have joining them on the panel is Mr. Ntando Phewa. And he's the director of Ukuphila Kwezwe Accountants. He's the co-founder and director of this mid-sized accounting and tax consulting practice that is made up of 14 accounting professionals and associates that services small to medium-sized entities and non-profit organizations through its Durban and Randburg offices. He holds a Bachelor of Commerce degree in accounting and an honors degree in management accounting, both attained from the University of KZN. Professionally, he's designated as a business accountant with the South African Institute for Business Accountants, and he's also a registered tax practitioner with the South African Revenue Services. Let's give him a round of applause. I'm going to hand over to the panelists. They each are going to present on various aspects, and then thereafter we will take a time of questions. Thank you. So you can go off that.
Morning, everyone. Morning, everyone. It sounds as if it's an adult summit and not a youth professional summit. My name is Ntando Phewa, as our program director has introduced me. I run an accounting firm that is based here in Durban and also based in Johannesburg. My story as a young professional is a bit, I wouldn't say that it's a bit straight-lined, but I believe that I'm here for a reason, because some of us here might be inspired by my story. I'm not sure, Program Director, if we have the slides available. Yes. Oh, okay. So before I start, I'd like to also first greet the SIGFARO Executive Committee, both at national and at a regional level. I'd also like to greet our co-panelists, co-speakers that spoke before me. And also, I'd like to also observe all protocols that are here with us. As I've said, that it is a youth summit. I so wish, you know, those securities that allowed us to come in, if they had asked us for our IDs, and then everyone who's above 35, they can stay behind. So we can, as young people, we can chat about them, some of the challenges that they put us through as interns, right? Isn't they give us a hard time? Yeah? But no, man, we need to appreciate the wisdom of old. As young people, we might have the energy, but they do have the relevant experience to take us further in our professional development journey. And also, I want to put a disclaimer. Most likely, 99% of the time when I have a mic is within a church setting. So please forgive me when I say amen from time to time. Please understand, it's a disclaimer. Treasurer, where's Mr. I'm putting a disclosure there. I'm disclosing for any potential conflicts of interest. So I'm not sure if my slide is available. That said that today I need to share a bit of my journey, but I'm seeing that time is an issue. So I'll start with the meat, and then we'll just reflect on my journey at the end. So by question, my role is as a person who's been in the private sector throughout. I haven't been in local government. I haven't been in the public sector. I've been practicing accountant in the private sector throughout. But I believe that most of us here might not be absorbed into the public sector system. We might find ourselves after our internship going into the private sector. So I believe that I'm here today so that I can bring maybe some enlightenment as to how do you navigate coming from a public sector environment and coming into a private sector environment where maybe the needs and demands might not be the same. Okay? So my first question today, because it's an interactive session, I want to find out, based on our understanding, do you understand what is a financial professional? We're here for a young financial professional summit, but do we know what is a young professional? Is there anyone with a mic on the floor? Program Director. maybe to not waste time, let's check on Google. So if you check on Google, according to the International Federation of Accountants, it defines a financial professional as an accountant, as an individual who achieves, demonstrates, and further develops their professional competence, while also complying with a code of ethics, as directed by a professional accountancy organization or licensing authority. So whether it's for auditors, whether it's for internal auditors, whether it's for cost and management accountants, whether it's for chartered accountants, all professionals fall under a similar type of setup where you first have to achieve some competencies, maybe behind a desk, and also spend some time doing some articles or some internships. Then after that, you are then approved and certified for competence in a particular area. And then also, as well, you are also required to maintain that professional competence. So for me, I like to summarize things so it's easier for us to see. My definition of a finance professional, I normally use 3 criteria. The first one, you need to be competent. You have to be competent. You can't become have a Bachelor of Science or Bachelor of Social Science and expect to be a finance professional. It's not the case, right? You have to have the relevant qualification at an academic level. I'm not sure if they have my slides ready. Okay, can I have the clicker, please? So it's important to have the relevant qualification. Understand the type of qualification that you need to have. For instance, if you want to become a chartered accountant, there is a set level of requirements from an academic qualification that you need to have. If you want to become an internal auditor, you have to have a set level of pre-qualification criteria. I did browse through as well, through the SIGFARO website as well. They also have their own criteria, whether you're becoming an associate member, or whether you're becoming a registered member, or whether you are becoming a chartered member as well. So it's very important for us to understand that. And then the second requirements that I believe that people need to have is to be qualified. A lot of us, especially, it's something that we tend to see as a phenomenon for those who, after qualifying, decide to go into the public sector. In our firm, we employ quite a lot of people through CIPA articles, because we are a CIPA accredited accounting firm that offers articles. So you'd find that a lot of people, they'll go into local government, but they'll discover now that, hey, because the reality is you are not allowed by law to prepare financials. I'm not sure in the public sector space, but according to IFRS, you are not allowed to prepare financials unless you belong to a recognized professional body. You are not allowed to represent a taxpayer, meaning that the municipality, someone within the municipality who's a public officer will have to go to SARS. Even if you are an accountant, you are the one who is preparing the returns. But if you are not recognized as a tax practitioner, you cannot go and represent that organization. Do you understand? So we come into the organization, we want to become accountants, but we discover that without that qualification of you affiliating with a professional body that would allow you to sign off financials, that would allow you to represent the organization on tax-related matters at SARS, you find yourself now that even your growth, you cannot grow as quickly enough. I always make this example when I'm doing interviews. I ask this question because with young people, especially I remember when I was watching a video of Mr. Mhlanga, when he was explaining about internships, you find that even with articles, you don't get paid much. You might find that you have a friend, maybe they are working in local government, they're an accountant clerk, probably their package is sitting maybe 200,000. But you are doing articles, probably your package is roughly 80 to 100,000 per year within your 3 years of articles. However, the person who's working already, they can afford to have a car, most likely. You probably have to use a public mode of transport during the 3-year period. You find that a lot of people, they would prefer to chase after the money of an accounting clerk role, but not understanding that an accounting clerk will have to present their work to a qualified accountant because they cannot prepare financial statements. But that 3 years will allow you, when you are qualified, when you go into a post, you have 3 years experience, just like that person, but now you belong to a professional body. You find that now, that money that they have earned over the 3-year period, because you are now qualified as a chartered accountant, you are qualified as a certified auditor, you are qualified as a business accountant in practice, whichever professional body you affiliate with. You can now earn, within that 3 years, you can earn in 1 year, that person's 3-year salary because of the salary notch that you are sitting on. So I always emphasize this, that you have to be qualified as a finance professional. You can't not just be qualified. You have to push yourself to be qualified. I know certain professional bodies as well, they do allow for you to have special ability to qualify whilst you are in the public sector. I know with SAIPA, they have a professional evaluation program. With SAIPA as well, they have a program as well. I'm not sure with SAICA, that allows you, based on your experience working in the public sector, depending on the competencies and your exposure, allow you to be qualified as an accountant so that you are able now to sign off work, so that you are able to become a tax practitioner and represent the organization or department that you are working under. And then also, the final one that I want us to look at is the importance of being intentional. Why are you doing your internship? Why are you looking to become a qualified accountant? If you do not have an answer to that, you'll find that now, after you've qualified, you'll have an issue to navigate in the world of work, because now you're thinking this qualification alone is going to open doors. But there are certain skills, there are certain abilities that you'll have to acquire throughout the journey, certain relationships, certain leadership skills that you'd need to acquire that would allow you to navigate and grow in your professional development. So those are the 3 requirements that I tend to summarize. If you do well on those 3 things, you will become a successful, a young professional. So if I can go to the next slide, I'd like for us to look at this as a life cycle, because most of the reason why people opt for that 200,000 job and instead of going for articles maybe at a, I know big 4 firms, they do pay well, but we know for sure their salary is very low. No? It's very low, even for big 4 firms. However, once you're qualified, the world is yours. Because now you are certified, you are qualified, you can open your own accounting practice if you want. You can also work in any organization, because now they know for sure that you've been certified. If something goes wrong in the quality of your work, they're able to report you to the relevant regulating bodies. So now, I want us to look at this as a life cycle. So in the beginning, your primary focus is for you to get educated. Let's say, for instance, after matric, you first, in your journey to becoming an accountant, your primary focus should be your education. There, your goal should be, how can I learn as much as possible behind the desk, so that I can gather as much information and academic skills to be able to apply my craft as an accountant or as a financial professional. And also, it's important as well to obtain good grades. Imagine for us, we receive over like 400 applications for each job offer we put out. How are we going to filter for a candidate? Most likely, we're going to filter using the good grades. So once you are still studying, it's important for you to ensure that you get good grades. And however, here, the typical crisis tends to be finances. Obviously, you need finances to study. And as you can see through that graph there, your income is negative, meaning that this thing costs you money. To study, it costs you money, right? Studying costs us money. To study, it costs you money. Come on, guys. To be at rest, you're paying money for your accommodation. Our fees are not for free. If you don't get good grades as well, your NSFAS, you might even not get that NSFAS. Your bursary might strip you off that bursary. So the typical crisis that a lot of prospective financial professionals undergo is finances and discipline. Then the next step that I tend to also want us to look at is the next phase now, where you have studied for 3-4 years, and now you need to now go through three years articles, or in your case, internships. So obviously here the goal is, for you to absorb as much experience as you can. Because I can't just hire you based on textbook knowledge. I need to know that you can do the job, you can prepare a return. I'm sure most of us here, we have an accounting background. How many of us have prepared a return in our undergraduate career whilst doing our degree or diploma? Have we prepared a tax return? But we are accountants. We can't even help our families. We can't prepare returns for our families and friends. Because in school, you learn the technical textbook knowledge, but you need to go through that 3 years, where now you need to undergo that practical experience. I also blame the professional bodies as well. I believe that us as accountants, we should be like doctors. Because now, the fact that now we need to spend another 3 years, and at home now they see us now, we are wearing these fancy suits and these nice shirts. They're expecting now that, hey, we're going to give them at the end of something at the end of the month. Isn't that what we go through? But we're still under internship. I remember Mr. Mshanga mentioned that the money for internships, you shouldn't even be dating. It's just for you to buy a roll-on, buy clothes, and have transport money, right? However, if you do not understand that during this period of articles, you might find yourself going through unnecessary challenges. Because during that period, the goal here is to obtain as much experience. If you do not go through articles, you're going to go work maybe as an accounts clerk or a debtors clerk. That's what you'll only know for the rest of your life, because you haven't been exposed. But we're fortunate that Treasurer has put through this fund for interns where you are able to rotate, go and work under asset management, go and work under budgeting, go and work under procurement within the internship space. So you can get that relevant expertise and exposure, right? And then after that, when you are qualified now, you're an accountant, or now you have the relevant experience to be absorbed into the system, it's important for you to specialize, to be known for something. What are you known for in the industry? What are you known for within the public sector space? You cannot be a jack of all trades. There must be something that you are known for. Like for me, for instance, I don't want to be the best accountant. I want to be the best accountant for small businesses. If you can think of small businesses and an accountant for small businesses, I want to be your guy. That's why at our firm, we only work with small to medium-sized entities and NPOs. We say we fish them with a rod, where we approach them one by one. But also, we sit as a panel for a lot of ESD programs, because they discover that we understand small businesses slightly better than your typical accounting firms. But most of the accounting firms, they tend to choose and chase after the bigger entities and forget about the smaller businesses. And we look at it, the fact that you are a registered company, the fact that your company is registered, by law, you are required to prepare 3 tax returns, whether you like it or not. If you're employing someone for more than 24 hours, you need to comply with UIF. But we understand that you do not know how to go about navigating in that space. Hence why we say we are going to support you as small to medium-sized businesses, and that's how we've been able to grow our portfolio of clients to the level in which we find ourselves now. Then the next thing now that is important for us to understand is that you also need to be qualified. Why should you need to be qualified? As you can see here, these are our regulatory bodies. You've got your SAICA, your Institute of Internal Auditors, you have your EPA, you have your SAIPA, you have your SAIPA, and also you have the tax practitioner recognition as well. It is important because as an accounting graduate only, there's only few things that you can do. Obviously, you've got the qualification. You can only do general bookkeeping tasks. You can do maybe become a debtors clerk, creditors clerk, accounting clerks, expenditure clerk. However, once you become accredited, there are certain things that you are able to do. Obviously, to be accredited, you have to go through a process of articleship. Then, depending on the professional body, they might want you to write board exam to certify that, hey, you are now competent to do this task. You can also still do the general task that a typical accounting graduate can do. However, it allows you to sign off annual financial statements. Meaning, even if you do the work, if I'm qualified, you're gonna, as a debtors clerk, you're gonna give the work to me. I'm just gonna check your work, and I'm going to sign them off. So meaning now, because I am qualified, you are not qualified. By law, how the accounting process is structured, I must be your manager because I need to review your work. I can't put my signature. on your work unless I verified your work. You see now why this person earns more money, the one who has went to go to do articles. Because they're going to have their signature written on those financials. So you find that now, by you sacrificing that 3 years of going and doing articles, you are now becoming elevated into a more middle to senior management role, because now you're going to put your signature. You need to review return and put your tax practitioner details on those tax returns. And then also as well, you are also regulated by a professional body. Meaning if someone is not happy by how you are doing work, how ethical you are, if someone is not happy about the quality of the work that you are producing, it's easy. If you belong to a professional body, they are able to take action. However, if you're not belonging to a professional body, people might be reluctant to even hire you. Hence why you find that if you are not, especially in the private sector, if you are not belonging to a professional body, it's very hard for people to hire you in the private sector, because they cannot rely on your experience alone. They need to know if anything goes wrong, if you become fraudulent, let's say you are a CFO, you are embezzling the company's funds, they are able to take action against you. They're able to take action against you practicing in future. But if you're not qualified, you can simply resign from that organization and go and work elsewhere, right? Then also, you need to be intentional. I'm not going to dwell a bit on this, but it's important for you to have a vision, to also have a mission, also have a values, which is very important, as our previous speaker has alluded as well, that it's important to have the right values. You can't expect now to be a leader in an organization, and now you are coming late in the office, you're not dressing in a professional manner. You are just speaking as anyhow. So it's important for you to have the right values. I believe that any profession, even if you are, if let's say for instance you want to do a heist, like a cash in transit heist, there are certain values that you need to have to be successful in that space, right? So similarly, to make a successful professional, there are certain values that you have to have. Ethics is one of them, meaning that corruption, you shouldn't be your portion. Nah? You shouldn't be participating in those things, because you understand if your department has a clean audit, most likely when there's a recommendation or when you're putting out a CV to another municipality, you can put that in your experience that in my department, we have successfully achieved clean audits for 3 years, 4 years. As a municipal manager, it's easy for me to hire you because I know this guy, I can trust this guy. He's not coming with his tendencies, he's not bringing his comrades from that department to come and eat off our funds, of our budgets. So it's important to have that, and then also have clear goals. I always say, like that song, that Drake song that says, start from the bottom, now you hear. For you to achieve your goals, for you to be qualified, for you to be a CFO, always start from the bottom. What goals do I need to set for myself? What other values do I need to have to ensure that I push myself to those goals? How do I achieve those goals? Like for me, I knew I wanted to be an accountant. I wanted to be self-employed, but I knew that my calling was for small to medium-sized entities. So I didn't need to go through that process now of becoming a chartered accountant, going to do my initial test of assessment. Yes, it is good, but for me, I needed to help those small to medium-sized entities. So the biggest thing that I needed was for me to be just qualified so that I can practice my craft and be able to assist those small to medium-sized entities. And then also, this is the most important one. If there's something you want to take away today, this is the important one. Hence why in our firm, I've said, we employ 14 people because we understand this foundational principle. It's important for you to be intentional to become a leader in any organization that you are a part of. It's important for you to be what? A leader. I always make this example. For you to earn 100,000, let's say 100,000 in an organization, if you're doing the job yourself, every day you must be making 5,000 profit or value that you are creating in an organization that you can say at the end of the month, I need 100,000 salary. Or you can just lead 20 people and push those people, manage them, lead them to do their task effectively so that they can each make 250 per day for the company. Then after a month, those people will generate 100,000 for the company. Which one is more easier? You doing it alone or you doing it through people? Which one is more easier? Through people. So it's important for you to be intentional, to become a leader, to lead. Everything rises and falls in leadership. Any person who's got a package above $1 million, you can check there, they are leading people because of the nature of their task. So don't be afraid, be intentional, and as the previous speakers had alluded, it starts from the bottom. You don't have to have the title to lead. You must lead from where you are. And then in closing, I always say that your professional development journey should be it's like a car. You are in a car. You are the driver, and then you've got the windscreen, which shows you where you are going. You must be intentional. Where are you going? Where do you see yourself after the internship? You're not going to be an intern forever. Also, it's important to check your rear view mirror. Do you have the relevant qualifications, academic training, even your background as well, where we are coming from as well? It's important to check that as well, so that you are able to navigate with ease as you go forward. Also, check your side mirrors. Who is surrounding you? It is said that you are an average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So if 5 of your friends are board members, most likely you're going to be the 6th board member. But if 5 of your friends are corrupt, they are driving big cars because someone is giving them handouts, most likely you are going to be the 6th one. So be careful who you surround yourself with. Be intentional as a young professional. Always surround yourself with people who are like-minded. Then also as well, check your dashboard. What do you have? What is at your disposal? You have a mentor. You are fortunate that you have a job. Maybe that job is not paying you as much, but you have a job. You have a mentor. You have training. You have guidance. You've got Sikfaro that is able to support you. Make use of what you have right now. Don't stress too much about what you are trying to achieve. Look at what you have right now and see how you can maximize that 1.5, that 18 months internship that you have. Then in closing, I'd love to share my journey. That was me back in 2012. It was a competition I won in my school, that pitch deck. So that's where I fall in love with entrepreneurship. And then the second picture there was in 2017. Guys, I had failed a module in my 3rd year. It wasn't all rosy. However, I volunteered in organizations, but I realized that these small organizations, they could not afford to have a full-time accountant, but they needed the support of an accountant. Then from there, I started a consulting business where I was employing 6 people as a student, making like 24,000 as a student. Imagine, just going to these small businesses. Then the issue came when, at the end of the year now, they need to produce financials. I now discovered that I can't prepare financials because I'm not qualified. And that's where now I was intentional to say, I need to find myself in an accounting firm where I can be accredited. So I serve in accounting firms. I was very intentional. Wanted to go into small to medium-sized business because I've tasted the money. 24,000 as a student is a lot of money, guys. And then, most importantly, my dissertation paper. I did a research paper on small to medium-sized businesses. I discovered that a lot of SMMEs don't know about these incentives, that SARS can pay you 1,005 per employee, that you hire through tax incentives, that you can make up to 550,000 profit and not be taxed at a normal rate which a company can be taxed. All of these incentives were put in place for small businesses, but small businesses didn't know about it. So that research paper gave birth to the practice of Ukuphila Kwezwe Accountants in 2020. It was a 2-man office. And then 2022, we grow the company to be a 10-man office. And now in 2025, as we celebrated 5 years in business, we opened a 2nd branch in Johannesburg, where we now employ 14 people. So it's important again, guys, to be, as I've said, that's my journey. As I close, be qualified. So you need to have the degree, right? What did I say? Be qualified. Be competent first. Have the degree, right? Be qualified. You need to go through the training, articles, go through internship, so that you are qualified to do the job. And then also as well, you need to be intentional. What is it that you want to achieve at the end? Because at the end of the day, whatever that you're trying to do, you'll find yourself frustrated and walking around and feeling as if you are not succeeding. So that is my closing speech, and thank you so much for giving me an ear. I'll be taking questions at the end.